Hey guys, my name is Betterbrick Studios, and by a vote of 50%, we're going to be taking a look at the third member of my Defensor team, also known as Rook. And here we have Rook in his vehicle mode, and he's just a brick on wheels, honestly. He doesn't have a lot of detail in a lot of places, but he also doesn't have that many problems. The biggest issue I face with this guy is him constantly falling apart because not a lot of it tabs in, and these parts at the front do look a bit ugly, but it needs to be that way because that's how it actually connects to the foot in combine mode. So there's really no way to avoid that. As you can tell, he has a very nice paint scheme. Originally, it wasn't this accurate to the Combiner Wars toy because it only had a stripe of blue instead of being fully blue, but I actually modified it before this video because I wanted it to look better. The final thing that I really have to note is the top is just very empty all the way down to the core, somewhat like myself. So it's kind of distracting, and when you look at it from the top, or from any angle that is slightly tilted upwards, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. On the back, he has these nice lights. These are meant to represent the police lights because this is supposed to be a SWAT type of vehicle. So that's what it's based off of. One thing that I really like is that he actually rolls pretty well. Most of my other LEGO Transformers don't roll at all. It's somewhat limited, but they have 3 wheels, so it's very easy to just go back and forth with, especially on smooth surfaces. Just makes a good combination. As you can see, he does suffer from visible head syndrome, but the original toy, I'm pretty sure, did suffer from that as well, so it's no big deal. And yeah, pretty cool vehicle mode. 4 size comparisons. Here we have Hoist, Grapple, and Ultra Magnus. So overall, he is about the same size of an average deluxe, although a bit chunky. To transform Rook is actually pretty simple and shares most of his transformation elements with his Combiner Wars toy. So, to start off, you're going to untab the arms from the legs here, and then they rotate forward, and you adjust the arm. Then, just flip up the head. This whole section is going to lift up on this snake of hinges, and then it will all sit nicely on his back. And to finish off, you do the classic Combiner Wars transformation move of folding the legs out. Then on the double hinge, they will lift up, and these studs will tab into the back here, and finish by folding up the legs and separating them. And here he is in robot mode, and what can I say? He was a big chunk in vehicle mode, and he's a big chunk in robot mode. I really like how he just looks a lot stronger than my other figures, but he still does have his problems. On the shoulders, there's a bunch of gray everywhere, and these struts just look a little too thin, in my opinion. His legs also feel, again, a bit thin, but compared to my other figures, he is a lot chunkier, so it makes him look like he's got an overall tough appearance, which is ultimately what I was going for. As you can see on the hands, I was able to incorporate the detail from the original toy where he had these guns coming out of his hands, although it isn't as big of a detail as the original toy. One thing that I really liked about designing this guy is, since he didn't have that much source material, I was able to be a little more creative with the details all around, rather than the others, which have to strictly adhere to the G1 designs. So I found that to be quite fun. For accessories, we have a foot, which is pretty basic. It just has a rotation here and a slight tilt. And he has this cool energy gun that has 4 rotating barrels at the front, which I think turned out pretty cool. To give him the gun, you just want to position the arms something like this, and this bar will clip into his hand, and the other bar will clip into his other hand, and he can hold it like some form of machine gun. And I think he honestly looks pretty cool doing it. I feel like the weapon suits him, considering he's the big tough guy of the squad. He should have a big gun. And honestly, it just looks awesome, and I'd be happy to display this guy on my shelf like this. And if you don't want him to be holding the gun, you can also have it thrown over his shoulder, which I think looks cool as well. For size comparisons, here we have Hoist, Grapple, and Ultra Magnus. So scale-wise, he fits right in between Deluxe and Voyager. Articulation time. Rotation at the head, up and down. Butterfly joint at the shoulders. Ball joint as well. So you can go full 360, out and in. Use ball jointed elbows, which allow for a full 360 rotation. And barely over 45-degree turn. Nothing at the waist on this guy, but he has ball jointed hips, which allow them to go forward, backwards, out pretty far, and in. Ball jointed knees allow for rotation, forward, backwards. Nothing at the feet, unfortunately, so it is actually less articulated than the toy, which had ankle tilts. Considering he has less articulation than a Combiner Wars toy, I'm gonna have to say it isn't that articulated. Let's get on to the conclusion. So to finish off, he's pretty fun to play around with. I love the way he looks with his gun, but his articulation is and he has a bad case of just flopping around and not holding together well, which makes messing around with him not very fun. He looks good when you put him on a shelf and leave him there, but if you ever want to like do a fight scene or whatever, it's just not that fun. Another thing I have to say about him is Rook as a character fits a lot better with the Protectobots than Groove does. Because with Groove, he's a motorcycle that's always either oversized or just mass shifting, which is honestly bad writing. And Rook, he fits perfect as a leg. You'd expect a big vehicle to be the leg, and he is a big vehicle that could be a leg. And his color scheme matches them a lot. I don't like Groove's weird goldish color, which just doesn't match the overall vibe of the team. And it's sad to see because Groove came first, and everybody asks and wants for more Groove, but I just think Rook should have been there since the start because of how much better he fits in with the team. I've been Bedrick Studios, and I'll see you guys next time.